Hi and hello everyone. Uh, Welcome to this live session 1 of the MOOC course, Introduction to Queuing Theory. Good afternoon everyone. I already see few people. So yes, okay. So I have seen. So anyway, I am not replying to your chat and good afternoon. So this good afternoon. If you have any question or anything, you can keep typing in chat, which I'll be looking at and respond. Okay, so just to talk about like how we have gone through so far, I just brief, right, to give you overview so that something even if you did not remember to ask, possibly it may strike your mind and you may ask. Okay, so we started with though we assume basic probability, we started with giving an overview. We introduced the general concepts of Q in the first week, and then also gave the transform ideas, which some of you may or may not have been gone through earlier, but still we need some basic minimum from there. So we just did that first. Then in the second week, we fully considered on the DTMC again, and then third week it is in the CTMC, which are the basic models for uh, say at least up to week 9 of the course. Okay, so even after that also that will be relevant, but that will be slightly generalized version. So at least up to week 9, this is the basic stochastic process that we need. So we just concentrated on that. And then we gave the basic. As you know, like it is in a condensed form. Some of you might have some difficulty, I understand, but there is no way out, and we can't prolong it further beyond 2 weeks for that content. So we have condensed it to 2 weeks, right? With only relevant material and the basic ideas only we are going to use. We are not interested in the proofs per se on those topics that we have seen in week 2 and week 3. And yes, that's what we did it. And yeah, I see, like, some of you are having difficulty in getting through the concepts. Nothing much to worry. Don't think that, you're not getting on with the concepts. I understand. So it's not that easy, because you could run that 2 weeks itself a full-fledged course. Okay, that much material is there, with more material, of course. Okay, now from the fourth week, which is last week in a way of the course, we gone back to Qs and we have done half of what was called as birth-death based queuing system. Okay, so we did half, and the remaining half component is released this week. Okay, that's week 5. Week 5 possibly you would not have seen, so at least or even you have time to see, but week 4 at least you would have seen. And like if you have any query or anything, like you can always post it on the forum, or you can even personally email to me, right? My email ID, you can always figure it out in the web page of my, which is nselvaraju@iitg.ac.in. Okay, so you can just directly ask me if you want any question to be asked, no problem, or you can just simply post it if it is relevant to the course. You simply post it on the forum so that others also, those who might have similar doubts or queries, will be able to get their doubts also clear by that process. Okay, so fine. And as far as materials, of course, you could just concentrate on the video, and anyway we have given you the text, the main text that we have been following, right? So which is the queuing theory by Shortall, Templeton, Grass and Harris. This is a text. Whenever I refer to text, you can refer to this text for more, right? Always. So more or less we are trying to follow that with little bit of material coming from outside, or we are not covering certain things from there otherwise, right? This is a classical book for queuing theory, any fundamentals of queuing theory book. And so there is, otherwise, I mean, if I pick from different books, it will be difficult. So it's easier to follow. As I said, the fourth edition is available as Indian edition. So anyone who was interested, like you can simply order it in Amazon. So you'll get the material. Lecture material are, the what we call transcripts may be available, but the process is on. And since this is the course which is running for the first time, that process is on. And so it may take some time. So you may not rely on that. If you want anything else regarding material, you can contact me, right? So that's, or in whichever way we can help you to, if you want material. But it's more or less the text that we are following. So it should not be difficult if you get hold of it. And what else? Okay, so as such, even in the Excel sheet circulated, there is not much query. And if you have any, queries, like I just saw in the weekly feedbacks as well, like what, it's not really much, but one thing that I would say is that there have been some questions on adding more examples in the lecture, but these are all done already. So, and also there's not much scope in a way, if you have to give different models. But as you see that problems are similar, assignment problems would help you, no problem. Assignments, I see that, there are some difficulties, like, because I leave it most of the question open in the form of a numerical answer for you to get the answer. Probably that is creating some difficulty. We will make it more of picking the answer type. Let us see how things work out. Okay. And fourth week, I have seen some, some submissions so far, but I think you need to look at those people who have already submitted. You need to look at your answers once more, because it is not as per what one would expect. Okay. What I mean to say is that it is not, that is my fourth week. Okay, week 4. Right. So the very basic things, I think you are making certain mistakes. So please be careful. See, all these assignments, if you listen carefully the video, you'll be able to answer, because certain things which may not be there in the slide, which I would have said, the assignments would have been based upon that. So unless you listen to that, you will not be able to answer that question. Okay. And certain things, just that it's, some of them are conceptual, some of them are mere working out of the application of the formula, just calculate it. Okay. So of course, calculation mistakes can happen to anyone. And I think probably that is what happened in many cases whenever I leave that option open. But in certain cases, very difficult to put it in the ABCD option because of this fractions, approximates values, how do we give, how, and all those things. So I leave it open, and in the evaluation, you would have seen that any answer within the range is taken to be the answer. Okay. But otherwise, even in fourth, I don't know whether I should discuss the implication or the hint of this fourth question, fourth assignment that's currently on. You have another 2 days to submit. So those who already submitted, like you can relook into that. The first question is basically application of the convergence condition. The second question is again, based upon the concept that what is on what the system says probabilities depends on. Third one is just mere computation using all the relationship that you may have, right? Once you identify the parameters lambda mu, then afterwards it's just that computation of L and W, and if W needs to be that much, then what should be the lambda? That's what you have to reverse engineer, reverse calculate you have to do. That's it. Fourth question is based upon the third question. It is just that on the waiting time, system waiting time. Straight away use the formula. There is nothing much here. Fifth, it is MMC again, it's just the formula of L. What is required, you just apply. Of course, these two questions are math questions, so what we call numerical answer type. So you might find answer may not be guessed. That's the only reason. Sixth question is also in the same form. It's just that you get lambda and mu, then you get you have to compute this MMC model simply. So you have to compute the P naught, but this is C is 2, so it's just that a very simple sum. It's not going to be very complex sum. Once you compute C naught, which is a nice probability, not a very small, not very high, it's a nice probability. You'll be able to get LQ, then WQ and W and so on, right, whatever is required. Seventh one, identification is important, that it is MM1 K plus 1 system. Okay, the system size is K plus 1. That's what you have to keep in mind when you are computing K, such that the certain probability, that is that whatever we say probability that all buffers are filled is less than that. So you have to find appropriate K. The system is MM1 K plus 1 system. Eighth one is straightforward, that whether you write down what are the LQ in both the cases and show that one is greater than the other. Simple. So that's like this. It's not difficult from our perspective, and also it is expected that you put in some effort, because MOOC, as per specification, it says that you need to spend at least 2 to 3 hours at least to solve the assignments. It will be helpful, fine, because the final question paper will be mainly based upon lecture and assignment, and assignments play a critical role there to clear your thing. One thing request was there in one of the fixed feedback, that some problems may be given, but the problems are plenty. You can simply get through from the text, or this kind of problems are there in whichever way. Like you just have to change the scenario. What is the idea? Like you can just change the scenario. Instead of production system, you will say communication system or computer system, different language only. It's not really different problems per se. Different problems, you will get the idea from here itself. So anyway, that you can find out. But if you still need, of course, we can see how much you can do. But there is always a question of constraints, like how much we'll be able to supply within the time that you require. Any query? Okay, so the question, one of the feedback is that videos don't have any numerical example to explain the concept. It's great if they have some sample example questions solved. Okay, that's the one query. As I said, these videos are already made, right? So I don't know how we can incorporate now, but also questions seem to be complex in assignments. That's what I was just explaining. And with respect to at least assignment 4, it's base, but you also need to look at what constitutes a base. So there is always a boundary. Fine. So we'll take care of it anyway. At least the assignments is in our hand. Like we can always take care. Assignments, there is no problem. But numerical example to explain the concept means it's little way, difficult. But how to do it is the question. Okay. Only just the computation alone it will come. There's nothing else will come in that matter. Right. If it is modeling aspects, that's a different. Right. So you have a live practical example which we are trying to model it. But that's another level, right? It is more into modeling rather than the theory. You see the difference? You see the difference that in a modeling course, you will take up more such nature. We are trying to accommodate little bit of it. Sometimes for want of time, we will abstract it. See, if you see in some of the examples, I would have described the situation and then we would have made that as a system and then we could have done the computation. In some of the examples, I have straight away given this is the model and this is the computation, because there the illustration was with respect to the the quantities that we have been interested in it, rather than the modeling aspects. And just to cut short that story, like we would have simply given it that. Okay. So yes, I agree that it will give you more clarity, but then the course need to be elaborative. We don't have that much time. Okay. That's the reason. Yes, there is. I agree to a certain extent, but there is also a constraint that you also need to understand. That's what I would say. Okay. Yeah, assignment question or anything, like if you have any clarity needed or anything, you just simply post it on forums, because there everyone then might have the same question, so we can just answer them. Okay. If you find this complex and you want some simplification of that or some more ideas like how one can do that, it is not complex as I see. But suppose if you find it, so then better post, no problem. I don't have a problem, right? You just post it so that, or you can directly maybe, or I don't know. I think there's a way of even posting it directly to us. So if that is the case, also it's fine. We will do that. That's it. Okay. So anyway, fine. So yes. Okay. So Mr. Gokulnath Chidambaram, like just after this, if possible, like I can give you a call. Because you want to have an one-on-one interaction. That's fine, no problem. So I'll just try to, I think your Gmail ID is there with me. So I will, through the same mode, like from my, I don't know, you have Microsoft Teams installed. So if it is there, then I can make a call. Otherwise, we'll see how to contact. Okay, I'll just mail you after the session to your Gmail ID. Right. So that's fine. Is there any other queries or question? So the next 2 weeks is going to be again Markovian, but general Markovian things. Again, from the text, that one chapter would be sufficient. Of course, so in the text, for example, some other things that you will not be able to find the text. For example, this Young set last system that we might be doing it this week will not be there in the text, but you have to refer to this material only. Okay. So like that, there'll be some will be there outside of the text, but otherwise mostly from the text. Right, sir. So if there is any question, like you can straight away post it in the chat. Right. So if I'm not seeing any question, so what you might do is that right, you might find week 2, week 3 may be difficult. Don't worry, things will be cool. You are taking only the basic ideas to go forward, and this will. And any other difficulty that you face, you may post it. We will respond as quickly as possible. Sometimes, I may not see on every day, on a day-to-day basis. So, little patient, you may have, right? I will try to answer. Post it on the forum, or if you directly email me, that's also fine. That I can respond to that. Material-wise, yes, text transcripts might take time because it's in the process. I don't know how long it will take, before. But other than that, material can be had from the text mainly. But if you still want something else, do let me know. That's all I would say as far as that is concerned. Yes, if that is nothing more, then we may close the session if there is no more query. So if there is a query, I would like to you may like to get answer before we close the session. Okay. I think that seems to be So the basic idea you have to remember, is that in any way theoretical course, mathematics department offers, it's not triple department offers or CSE department offers a computer a queuing system course. The same thing can be offered from there, but their perspective may be different. Our perspective may be different. That's all I would say with respect to this. But that's where the drawing of the line would be important for us. Okay. So with that, we'll close it, and maybe if in the forum or direct email, we'll meet in the next chat, maybe 3 weeks from now or 2 weeks to 3 weeks, about 3 weeks from now. Okay, in the next session. Thank you. Bye.